On July 7, 2007, a global poll organized by the New Seven Wonders Foundation announced a new list of architectural icons, names like Christ the Redeemer and the Great Wall of China, that would define modern tourism. Yet, a structure involving the manual removal of 200,000 tons of basalt rock was nowhere on that list, the Kailash Temple of Ellora. Despite demanding more material displacement than the Great Pyramid of Giza, this 8th century masterpiece failed to secure enough votes to stand alongside far simpler structures. Most monuments are additive, built by stacking stones. Kailash is subtractive. Artisans carved downward into the bedrock, hollowing out a temple from a single mass. This permits zero margin for error. Unlike additive construction, one wrong chisel stroke ruins decades of labor. This requirement for absolute engineering precision is why architectural historians rank the temple's technical difficulty above the pyramids. To understand why this omission is so glaring, we have to look at the engineering data of the monuments that actually won, specifically the rock-cut city of Petra. Petra's treasury is world-famous, but it is primarily an external facade. The intricate work is only a few meters deep. Once you step inside, you find simple, rudimentary cave spaces. Kailash, by contrast, is fully three-dimensional. It features multi-level galleries, freestanding stone elephants, and load-bearing columns, all carved from the same monolithic block, extending over 30 meters deep into the earth. When a fully sculpted 3D temple loses an architectural pole to a flat rock facade, it becomes clear that technical merit was not the primary deciding factor. The 2007 poll functioned as a global popularity contest, relying on SMS and online voting, rather than an expert jury of architects or historians. Nations like Brazil and Jordan launched aggressive, multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns to secure their spots. India's campaign, however, focused almost exclusively on the Taj Mahal, banking on its pre-existing global fame, rather than highlighting lesser-known engineering marvels. Ultimately, the voting algorithms favored visual simplicity and massive PR budgets over the complex contextual understanding required to appreciate a structure like Kailash. This exclusion is rooted in 19th century British surveys, like those of James Ferguson, which systematically placed Indian temples below Greek and Roman structures on a civilizational hierarchy. Western architectural standards emphasize classical symmetry and structural purity. This framework often misinterprets the dense narrative complexity of Hindu temples as merely decorative or chaotic, rather than a sophisticated integration of engineering and cosmology. This is epistemological colonialism. By defining wonder through a strictly Western lens, global institutions continue to marginalize non-Western achievements that do not fit their specific aesthetic benchmarks. This chart shows the real-world impact of that branding. Despite its technical superiority, Ellora receives roughly half the annual visitors that Petra does, illustrating how these lists drive billions in tourism revenue. There is also a psychological cost. When global educational standards prioritize additive Western structures like the Colosseum over indigenous subtractive marvels, it shapes how young people view their own civilizational history. Being left off these lists isn't just about missing a trophy. It actively reinforces a sense of civilizational inferiority in the minds of future generations. Reclaiming the narrative requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeking validation from Western marketing polls, there is a growing movement to establish indigenous frameworks for evaluating architectural achievement. Swami Vivekananda famously challenged this reliance on foreign validation, urging the nation to move past conventions that were too much Western and instead find confidence in its own standards. Kailash needs no external list to prove its worth. It remains a monument to what humanity can achieve when it refuses to build with stone and instead chooses to carve eternity directly out of it.